It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Hey, Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Unplugged with Scotty G. It's great to have you in here. Happy Friday. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to us. Apologies about yesterday, not having the show. Still feeling a little bit under the weather, but everybody, thanks for tuning in today. I'm here with my good buddy, Blake Williams. How we doing, man?
Kind of tired. It's early one for me, but yeah, we'll get through it. I had to help get through this. Going to be a little bit of a Johnny Hole staff today with Scott under the weather. So yeah, here's relief.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, we'll get through it. And then tomorrow, NLDS starts up here against Philadelphia Phillies. And I would believe is the most anticipated matchup of the division series round of the playoffs, perhaps in general, leading up to the World Series here. It feels like it's a battle. I called it a battle of two titans, two teams that have what it takes offensively, have what it takes on paper, with both the tenacity, the playoff pedigree, the experience. When you just look at the series as a whole, for me, Blake, it feels like two of these teams, whoever makes it through, is looking like a favorite to go on and win a World Series.
Probably, and that's kind of the sentiment we had last year in the NLDS with the Padres and Dodgers. It's still the postseason so random, but I'm not like very high on the Cubs or the Brewers. I'd be a little shocked if the Brewers advance, and the Cubs just aren't very good either. So like this is the heavyweight matchup in the NL, and yeah, this is the favorites to advance.
Yeah, when I was looking more into, preparing for the show, I was looking at the numbers offensively between the Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. In the second half, the Phillies, that's when they kind of went on their run, and they surged into the second slot in the National League, and gave the Brewers a run for their money. With how hot the Brewers went, they sped away pretty early on. And then I was looking, trying to find some similarities were completely there. As a staff, as a lineup, the Philadelphia Phillies were far and away in the second half one of the best offenses in baseball, perhaps the best offense in baseball. It was just, they were electric. They were phenomenal. 118 WRC plus total, as the Philadelphia Phillies combined. Dodgers were 109 in the second half. So a clear advantage there. OPS near 800 as a unit. So they were completely there. A lot of that had to do with Kyle Schwarber going on an absolute tear. But in the final month of the year, Alec Boehm's looked great since he's returned. Bryce Harper, same type of stuff. I know he's kind of slumped as of late, but Bryson Stott, role players have been playing pretty good ball. So you look around the Philadelphia Phillies roster, and they've been playing really well as a whole. Just a lot of professional hitters there. You know what you're going to get. Trey Turner seemingly back in the lineup after a hamstring strain. On the surface of this series, Blake, what are things that you're specifically going to be looking out for?
I mean, I feel like it's always going to come down to how well the bullpen can shut down the Phillies lineup. Yeah. I feel like the starters are going to match up well. They're great starters. We know that, but the bullpen, in Andrew Friedman's word, keeps us up at night. That's just kind of how it goes. We had hope in Emmett Sheehan, and he struggled in his first appearance out of the bullpen, and like Roki Sasaki may be the saving hope here, but yeah, I just need to see the bullpen be somewhat effective. I need to see one or two guys step up, and if that happens, I'm pretty confident in the series, but it's two really good teams, and it could go either way regardless of what happens. So yeah, it's going to be a fun series.
Yeah, and I was looking at the roster and kind of how the Dodgers can shake this out. I did tune into a little bit of the show last night with Jeff and Bruce, kind of breaking down the roster of how it could shake out there. And I have yours pulled up that you tweeted out, and we're in kind of lockstep with how you have this. I have it pulled up. I don't know if you've got it as well. But I can go through the roster that Blake had typed out, and I was pretty confident that this is the lineup that the Dodgers might go with, the roster that they're particularly going to go with against the Phillies, who will throw, which I believe is 3 left-handed starters once again against the Dodgers. Do you think they're going to follow in that same kind of line?
No Walker Buehler starting for them? You're
Walker
out on
Buehler, yeah.
Buehler?
Yeah, Walker Buehler, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the Phillies, the loss of Zach Wheeler was huge.
Massive.
That's that's a benefit for the Dodgers, tough for the Phillies. He's probably a top 3 starting pitcher in baseball. I don't think it can be overstated how beneficial that is to the Dodgers in this series, because it just gives them the clear starting pitcher advantage. Whereas before, the Phillies really matched up, but now you're pushing like Cristopher Sánchez, who's really good, but now he's your 1 instead of your 2. It gives the Dodgers such a big advantage here. So that's why I said it comes down to the bullpen. I mean, I think most people would probably say that with how they've been pitching, but yeah, I mean, I don't even remember what your question was to go into this.
No, it's okay. Yeah, talking about how the Phillies throwing out 3 left-handed starters against what I think kind of the same thing they did in mid-September there in LA. It was Cristopher Sánchez, Ranger Suarez, and Jesus Luzardo. So those are the 3 guys that have, carried them a ton in the second half. Walker Buehler's infusion kind of out of the bullpen there, giving him some length, starting a few games. He's been very good for the Philadelphia Phillies. So I've been kind of joggling in my mind, like when they would see him at home in Dodger Stadium or on the road in Philadelphia. And that's kind of making me not nervous, but it's just when you face an old friend like that, it's a matter of where they're going to deploy him. I'm not sure where they would do that. It would be, I don't know if they would insert in the middle of the series. I think they might want to go with the guys that have gotten them there prior to going with Walker Buehler. If they want to break up the lefties, then sure. But I haven't really thought about that much. It's not that I totally forgot about Walker Buehler. It's that I just not sunk into my mind that he's on the Philadelphia Phillies and they have a chance that they're going to face him in the postseason series.
He's starting game 4 at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers get to him, score like 8 runs, 2 innings. And that's when the Dodgers eliminate the Phillies.
Man,
I think it would be hilarious for multiple reasons. Just destroying the October Buehler memes. It would be a Buehler's like double agent type thing on the Phillies side. There's just so many fun angles from that.
Oh, glad like Jeff says, glad you said it, not me. I don't know. I can't see it. I'd have to be mentally prepared for it to happen. Do you see them starting Walker Buehler against the Dodgers?
Probably not with the off days that are there, but they'll probably pitch him at some point for sure. I'm
actually kind of blown away that this series is spaced out like it is. It goes game 1 Saturday, game 2 Monday, game 3 Wednesday, and game 4 on Thursday, October 9th. And there's a day off between 4 and 5 going back to Philadelphia. It's a pretty spaced out 5-game set, Blake.
Yeah, and that's great for the Dodgers because it allows you to go back to Blake Snell in game 2, Yamamoto game 3, then you can go Glasnow game 4, and then Ohtani game 5.
Somebody in chat saying that at least on Blue Review, Matt Moreno just said Phillies in 5. Any thoughts on that?
That's just Matt being Matt. I mean, it's not a bad prediction. Like, this series feels like 50-50. Like, it could go either way, right? So Matt's just being his usual, trying to be unbiased self, and in the process, he becomes biased against the Dodgers when doing that. But, it could really go either way. I'm not going to, get upset with anyone who picks the Phillies because the Dodgers bullpen's a real concern, and they need some guys to step up. And we've seen the offense go quiet at times. Like, they've been playing well recently, but that could all change in a minute. So who knows?
Sure. Yeah, I look at the series, and it's the fact that people are going to say, oh, maybe I've got the blue lenses on. It's not that. I watched the Philadelphia Phillies series against the Dodgers, and I know things get ramped up differently in postseason baseball. Playing in Citizen Bank Park is a really tough task. Like, playing the bank is always rocking in the postseason there. I understand the impact that the fans have. I've got an incredible affinity for what the Philadelphia Phillies fan base does when playing at home in the postseason. It's a terrific environment to be. I would assume a home fan, a home player there. But looking at how the Dodgers matched up against the Phillies starting pitching, I wasn't overwhelmed by what they were putting out there. I know the home and road splits at what they have. I really broke down and looked into what Cristopher Sánchez did in his last outing, which is what we're going to talk about here in a few moments. But just like you said, it's a really good matchup. It's a 50-50 ball. It's something that you have, you're outside of a Justin Robleski blow up, a Jack Dreyer out of the box appearance in Dodger Stadium. And the Dodgers win game 3 in LA pretty handedly. That was a Blake Snell performance. It was 2 relievers, and that was it, ball game. So I believe the Dodgers are well equipped to handle as many lefties out of the Phillies are going to throw. I think that the Phillies have a pretty set list of relievers that they have, and the Dodgers are kind of all over the board with who they're going to throw out of the bullpen. And the Dodgers starters have been throwing regularly over 100 pitches coming out of for a few weeks now. So Dave Roberts is going to push the starters. The starters took care of the Philadelphia Phillies offense. And I know that was without Alec Boehm. That was without Trey Turner. So we'll see. But it's a 50-50 ball. It's not that I'm just overly biased. I'm not. Like, I love what Kyle Schwarber can do. Trey Turner, when he's on, he's been good. Bryce Harper, stuff like that. They play a menacing offense. They'll get on you when you can. And this is all without Nick Castellanos playing good ball at all. He hasn't even been starting. So with what I see in the Dodgers is that they're coming on a heater right now. They're coming on playing really well, feeling good about themselves. The starting pitching understands the responsibility. I'd hate to put it on the bullpen again, but the law of averages and stuff like that and adjusting your game plan and Dave Roberts hopefully learning from the mistakes and remembering what happened and hopefully the advanced scouting department looks at the Philadelphia Phillies series in LA in mid-September, and the same mistakes don't happen again. So I think that's maybe me banking on that and then making those proper adjustments. And maybe Justin Robleski isn't left out there to die, allowing 5 earned runs against the Phillies in a third of an inning. And then maybe we're having a different conversation about the bullpen being able to handle that. Am I being overly optimistic, or are these just this is just more than a coin flip, I would feel?
Yeah, you're coping. The Phillies have this one in the bag.
Got it. Alrighty. I'll shut it down.
But I mean, really, if the Dodgers bullpen, back in that series when they last played the Phillies, if 1 or 2 guys just stepped up for them, it's a completely different series. And we're probably talking about how the Dodgers are going to be the favorites because they destroyed the Phillies in the regular season. And now they're getting hot at the right time. But it's just that bullpen. That's the main thing giving me concern. I'm sure most fans feel the same thing. And why we keep talking about it. It seems like every single time we mention the Dodgers, it's, oh yeah, but the bullpen. So if you get 1 or 2 guys to step up, maybe it's Roki, maybe it's Dreyer, maybe Bonda's the savior versus lefties here, maybe Kershaw is the guy who also helps figure it out. It's just a completely different team if you can rely on 2 relievers.
Yeah, and Jedi, chill out, man. I know Jeff's overly optimistic about some stuff, and he's on the record as that. It's no secret. I'm not being overly optimistic. I just know what the Dodgers have done in the postseason. I know that you watch the games. If you've watched the games, again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Hit that sub button. It's not being overly optimistic. It's understanding that one move here and there completely changes that series. If you go look at the box score instead of just thinking about what the bullpen has done as of late, you're playing against a team that you feel pretty good about. You feel your starters, good pitching will always be good hitting. It's flat out how it was. Flat out how it's going to be, always will be. And the Dodgers starters are in a terrific spot with themselves. They're working themselves out of damage. They're working deep into games. Dave's got a good feel for that. So if we can put that, put a checkbox next to it, now it's just about getting yourself and putting your relievers that I would say Dave hopefully trusts, and he's hopefully going to put them in better scenarios and not put Alex Vesia in an 8-run game in a spot where he doesn't do well and doesn't thrive in. So if he can learn from those mistakes, and he has, hopefully, then we can talk about a different thing. And maybe that's just being too overly optimistic. Okay, you're right.
No, he won't put in Vesia in an 8-run game. We're going to be talking about different things, and that thing will be Tanner Sky getting the save opportunity in game 1.
We talked about that being a case, Blake. We do think that's going to happen. We really do think it's going to happen. He did it against the Phillies in mid-September. It will be a thing. He might shy away from it because Dave is on record as saying Roki will get those back-end outings. I really believe it. We love what we've seen from Roki Sasaki. So it's a legitimate thing.
But like, if it's Schwarber and Harper due up in the 9th, there's no way he's going to Roki. He's going to a lefty, and it's going to be Tanner Scott.
Oh.
You know him right here. He's their guy.
3 lefties. Give me 2 lefties, including Tanner Scott. So give me one more that Dave would consider putting in the 9th against that duo.
Vesia.
Yeah.
And then probably like Dreyer third on the list if you were going thirds.
I still think about that swing Bryce Harper had against Alex Vesia where he barreled a fastball way above the zone, put it out. And I just don't want to see that cutaway to right field, bank rocking, the sea of red. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But I can picture it.
Vesia doesn't seem like a great matchup against Bryce Harper or Kyle Schwarber for that matter. Like,
yeah,
Vesia is an elevated fastball guy, and Harper can hit those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hit somebody with a sinker, go to Jack, go to somebody. We've seen them do it, but we've seen them also. You know, the Phillies are just a good ball club, man. They just got good postseason performers. It's a coin flip. I need to have a couple run lead here headed into the 9th. Dodgers need to take care of business. But we're talking about the Dodgers offense versus Cristopher Sánchez. Again, everybody, my name is Scott Geirman. Blake Williams with me. It's great to have you in on Unplugged. Thanks for tuning in on this Friday morning. We're gearing ourselves up for this Philadelphia Phillies series, this National League Division Series matchup here. And it's a 5-gamer. So Antonio saying the Dodgers kick ass, Dodgers in 6. That's a little bit too late. So that means Dodgers out in 5. Yikes. It's great to have you, though, Antonio. Appreciate you, man. If you say in 5, cool. That would be a sweaty. I would like this to be like a nice little 4-gamer, wrap it up in LA. We'll talk next week, stuff like that. Yeah, no, Dodgers in 7 for sure. Dodgers in 7. There we go. We got a super chat here from JY. It's good to see you, man. He says, does that lefty-righty analytics really matter? Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the talk about reverse splits, but I would challenge anyone to find players who have sustained reverse splits over a significant sample size. Like Mike Trout might be the only one. Like, there's your little spoiler right there. Pretty much everyone who has reverse splits goes back to regression and being better against the opposite hand over their career. So like when we talk about the Phillies being their lefties being good against lefties, it's probably not something that's going to sustain if you keep betting on that. So yeah, pretty much every hitter in baseball is worse against the same handedness that they hit. So it's just, you're going to play the matchups, play into your favor. And for the Dodgers, the lefties are probably the best options in their bullpen. So you're going to play up on those matchups as well.
Yeah, so I'm looking at, this last night, woke up in the middle of the night, decided to do some prep. And I'm looking at the 2 times that Cristopher Sánchez faced the Dodgers this year. He faced them once way back in early April 6th. That was in Philadelphia. Cristopher Sánchez, he's always going to get a ton of whiffs. He's a big 3-pitch mix guy, heavy sinker, a lot of sliders, changeups. As the year went on, his changeup became one of the best pitches in Major League Baseball. Maybe one of the best changeups in Major League Baseball. He gets a ton of whiff on that pitch, allows a very low batting average allowed on it. It might be just second. I forgot whose has the better changeup, and I think it's Tarek Skubal, who has maybe perhaps the number 1 changeup in Major League Baseball. 15 whiffs then. You fast forward to the 16th of September, and he had 18 whiffs that game. Cristopher Sánchez kind of flipped his usage with his slider and his changeup. So tomorrow what you're going to get from Cristopher Sánchez, and I kind of mapped out a lineup. And this will kind of give a hint to what we think the roster will be. I believe the Dodgers are going to maximize themselves against left-handed starters, and that's just how I see it happening. Tomorrow, this might surprise you a little bit. But my lineup, I've got Alex Call in the starting lineup tomorrow. If Alex Call makes a roster, I've got Alex Call starting in left field tomorrow.
I don't really see it unless someone's hurt worse than they're letting on. I think it's going to be Kike in left and Edman at second.
I don't put Max Muncy in there tomorrow against a lefty for how bad he's been against lefties, man.
I mean, I just don't think they're gonna do that.
That's all right. I see that being a thing. He hasn't looked great against lefties. Look, if they do that, that's a spot I see them doing it. I see Alex Call getting a start in left. He's been exceptional against sliders, and Cristopher Sánchez is known to throw a decent bit of sliders to right-handed hitters. Get me over pitches, 2 strike counts. I think it's going to be okay. I think they're going to talk about it.
Your logic is sound and it makes sense. I just don't think they're going to do it from like a Max Muncy's our guy. He's someone we rely on type thing.
All right. I'm just saying, keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out for it. If they choose to do that, if they choose later in the game, they want to put a spot. I'm not saying Kike's not in the lineup. I have Kike in the lineup somewhere. Why are people assuming
third base?
Yeah. Why are people talking about Kike not in there? I didn't say Kike or Alex Call is playing third base.
I also think it might depend on Kike's back too, because if his back is still tight, they might not want him at third base, like getting down a lot for taking grounders and stuff like that. But I mean, your logic is sound. I wouldn't be like against it if they did that. I just don't see Dave doing that.
Man, why did people hate Alex Call? Alex Call against the lefty was great. Alex Call performed really well against Cristopher Sánchez. I've got no problem with that. People aren't looking at his plus stuff against the pitch mix that Cristopher Sánchez had, the at bats he had against Cristopher Sánchez, the lefties that they're going to face. It works out really well there. The usage that he had, I think the Dodgers just perform really well against 3-pitch mix starters. Unless you've got overwhelming stuff, and that's why the Dodgers face him so well. He gives a lot of other teams fits. But Teoscar Hernandez back in April had 3 extra base hits off Cristopher Sánchez in one game against Cristopher Sánchez. Teoscar Hernandez was exceptional there. Let's see this here. Why are people assuming I'm not talking about Alex Call or Kike? You guys are all completely off with who I'm subbing there. That has nothing to do with one or the other. It's not Alex Call or Kike Hernandez. It has everything to do with how to fit both of them in there. Yeah. So I'm on with my thing. You guys are just subbing out the wrong person here. Blake, tomorrow with Cristopher Sánchez, with what the Dodgers have done so far this year against him, what are you looking out for?
I mean, they just need to continue doing what they've done and working the count, being aggressive in the zone. The Dodgers offense is good enough to beat any starting pitcher in baseball. I think Cristopher Sánchez is probably one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball. I think a lot of fans don't talk about how good he is, but he's up there among probably the top 15 or 20 pitchers in baseball. So it's going to be a challenge for them, but like this offense, if they just do what they're capable of, they shouldn't have many problems, and they have hit lefties fairly well. You got the boost of Shohei on the mound, bringing a little more energy to the team. So like just go out there and be aggressive on the fastball and just do what they've done for all of September, because I'm not going to say all year because they've been bad for a lot of the year.
Yeah. I think my concern with the Dodgers offense, at least against Cristopher Sánchez, is that, in this last outing, they did put up the early damage. And I know that the Phillies, roared back there, but the Dodgers allowed Cristopher Sánchez to go 7 innings, after putting up, getting a decent offensive surge against him. I think they put up 4 runs early. They allowed him to go 7. And I don't believe that can happen in Citizen Bank. I need the Dodgers to, if they have an early surge, to find a way to get that extra hit, that extra gut punch, to force him out of the game, to force Rob Thompson to make a move there. I know he usually, will withstand that and let his offense settle in, and hopefully they can hold the Dodgers off, hold the opposing teams off. We've seen them do that. I think they'll try to do it again. But if the Dodgers do something early, and early damage is where it has to happen, you can't allow him to settle in, because he gets better as the game goes on. Lefties against Cristopher Sánchez, which is why I'm so rough on what it is. I think Freddie Freeman, is a guy that just, he's got a tough task tomorrow, Blake, like a really difficult task against Cristopher Sánchez tomorrow. Against left-handed hitters, Cristopher Sánchez allowed just a 189 batting average all year. So Freddie Freeman's got a really difficult task. He's going to get sinker slider all day long. Rarely will throw a changeup against a lefty. So I think that if Max Muncy's in there, he definitely just has to avoid chasing the outside pitch, man. He's got to sit sink. He's got to sit inner half. Hopefully get a mistake because he will locate sinkers inside zone. So if you have two lefties in the starting lineup there, it is what it is. But Freddie Freeman, if Max Muncy's in there, then they've got a definite tall order. They've got a tough task there.
I mean, we aren't even talking Benny Rowe, third lefty in the lineup.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's out there to do a job. He's out there to lay a big sack bunt down. We know what we think about Benny Rowe.
And we haven't talked about like Miguel Rojas could be a guy in the lineup too. He's handled lefties really well. He's been playing great for the better part of the entire season. So the Dodgers do have options, and that is beneficial to them. I'm still not fully sure they're going to bench Muncy for one of them, but considering it could be an excuse for Dave to say like, yeah, Muncy's been a bit banged up, so just getting him out versus a lefty could make some sense there. But yeah, I mean, the Dodgers have options, and they do match up fairly well against Cristopher Sánchez. It's just going out there and doing the job, getting it done.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking more of later game, get him out of there early, and then once Phillies go to the bullpen there, you've got Rob Thompson's going to go to his handful of righties that he does trust, and I think that's where my logic is with it. Aaron wants to know, is Will Smith starting? Yeah, I don't see Will Smith starting any of these games early on, at least. The fact that he didn't get one appearance in the wild card round, Dodgers didn't need him to do it. Where do you kind of stand on Will Smith so far right now?
I'd be shocked if he starts a game this series. I mean, I just don't see him being able to play defense well enough to go out there. He was having trouble throwing the ball. I don't think you can really risk the defensive drop-off for the bat upgrade there with how well Rortvet's been doing. So I think he's better off just being saved for a pinch hitter role.
Big Benny Rowe, man. Big Benny Rowe just going out there and competing. Shout out to Blake. Shout out to the Benny Rowe Day Ones. Again, shout out to all the Tier 1s in here. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the support early on in here. Everybody listening after the fact, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, subscribe, do all the things for us. Yeah, postseason baseball. This is kind of the off days and the postseason stink. That's when I'm like, I'm all geared up. I'm ramped up. I just want something. Even though I enjoying the game is something that's tough, and when it's going south, you know, it's the fact that you got to wait. I can't stand that, Blake. I forgot you're a robot with this stuff. You don't care.
For me, the breaks are nice because the postseason's so busy for us. Like, it feels like nonstop stuff going on that we're uploading or writing or trying to get covered. So like the breaks are definitely nice for me. I got to sleep a little bit yesterday, and yeah, it's a grind.
Am I looking too much into specific matchups and not just going based on Dave gut feeling? Am I doing this? It's all right to tell me.
No, because I think the front office has more of a say in the lineup in the regular or in the postseason than they do in the regular season. I think in the regular season, it's fully on Dave to put out whatever lineup he wants, essentially. And once the postseason's involved, the front office is a lot more planning. So I think you get more of those numbers involved and kind of discussions about matchups and things like that. But for the most part, in the postseason, they tend to stick with their guys and their superstars who they believe in, and go a little less platoon heavy in the postseason. So I could kind of see it going either way. Like, there's totally a case for Rojas and Call to be in there over Muncy. But like at the end of the day, it's still Max Muncy, and you want him in the lineup.
Yeah, I got to look at like the run of that he had against the Phillies then, but he didn't start that game against Cristopher Sánchez in mid-September. So he wasn't in there against that. He came in late game as a pinch hit spot, and Kike Hernandez got the start at third there. And I think that's where it's at. Alex Call did get the start and left. I think I'm basing it a lot on that. And when you have success against someone there, you kind of try to keep that continuity. And that's where my logic came from. I looked into it quite a bit, and that's where I felt pretty confident in it. So that's where that's at. Just want to let people know that's the site of what I'm looking at. Falls in line with exactly as, you know, repeating success against a high quality starter who has a 3-pitch mix that the Dodgers do fairly well against. And that's where it's at. People say I trust. Yeah. Jeffrey says I trust the front office. They do more than just baseball. Yeah. I mean, look, the Dodgers front office is doing all these things, but the one thing they did miss on has been the thing that's plagued them a bunch. And that's been the bullpen here. Alex says, I asked Jeff and Bruce this yesterday. Do you expect Teo in the 3-hole against all 3 lefty starters? I kind of have him there. I would say they do that fairly regularly. They stack the righties at the top and then provide a bridge with Freddie Freeman after that. And then you can kind of mix and match Tommy Edman, Andy Pages, whoever else after that. You see that as well?
Yeah, especially if they're only going with like 2 or 3 lefties in the lineup. You definitely want to spread them out a little bit more. And Freddie hasn't been like lighting the world on fire or anything, so it might make sense to drop him down a little. Teoscar's been playing well. Makes sense.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman. Yeah, exactly. He had that ground rule double, that big swing. But you're correct. He hasn't looked great. He's looked all right. He goes 2 for 3 in the first game of the series against the Reds, and then 0 for 4 with a punch and a walk in game 2 in the clincher there. He's got to get up to speed. Against Cristopher Sánchez, what I expect with Freddie Freeman, be early on every sinker inner half, get a slider away. I can see that patented Freddie just cut the plate off and just push it the opposite way. And so that's something to be looking out for him there. But he's got a really tough task against Cristopher Sánchez, who's taking care of lefties, no problem. He allowed 1 home run to a lefty all year. So 173 plate appearances against a lefty, just 1 homer. And so 5 total extra base hits. So you're really going to have to work hard up there, Freddie. Do the best you can. If Max is in there, same thing. Benny Rowe, better have the best sack bunt you've got on, or bleeder over Bryson Stott's head in a short right. That's how I see it playing out here. We've got some super chats here. Ricardo says, the bullpen keeps me up at night. Please tell me I'm overreacting and why. I don't know if we can tell you you're overreacting because it should keep you up at night. But Blake, if there is any kind of momentum in the last few days that you felt, even though it might not be on field or just stuff you've seen with different guys and how you see them deploying them differently, give Ricardo a reason that he doesn't have to keep taking NyQuil to fall asleep.
I mean, as I've pointed out a ton of times, my favorite Andrew Friedman quote is, the bullpen keeps me up at night. So I don't think you're overreacting to it, and especially with this bullpen right now. If we're going to go with some like hope and copium type stuff, like Roki Sasaki's looked really good out of the bullpen in his like 5 appearances that it's been now. Or, I mean, Kershaw hopefully helps figure things out down there. Alex Vesia is probably still not as bad as he's shown. Jack Dreyer has been good all year, and he's a little rusty in his first postseason taste. They put him in a bad spot, but like he's still been really good all year. Blake Trinan has looked surprisingly really good recently, so that's some hope there for a turnaround. So if you can just get a few guys to step up, like it's a completely different conversation if you can just lean on 2 or 3 of them instead of having to just throw anyone out there and see if they have something or can figure it out. So the bullpen's always going to be a concern. I don't think you're ever going to feel safe regardless of which reliever's coming in for any team in any year. But yeah, I mean, there's some signs of life at least.
Ricardo, hopefully that did something for you. Hopefully that took a little bit of the edge off there, and if it gives you any if it's hope, if it's cope, whatever it wants to be, with Roki at the back end and Dave Roberts feeling confident in that, Blake Trinan looking better, the complement of lefties that, for all intents and purposes, did the best they could, even with the blow-ups there. I would encourage you to go look at the start Blake Snell had there. That's the roadmap. That would be exceptional for the Dodgers. I think they went Blake Snell for 7, Vesia, and then I think it might have been Blake Trinan to close it out there. I'm not sure how that went, but who was in the 9th, but that would be the ideal. And that's like the 100th percentile outcome. But I would believe that the Dodgers relievers are better than how they pitched in September, or in against the Phillies in September. I would say the lefties, the righties. But as far as the lefties, Tanner Scott outside of that mix, all the other lefties I trust: Robleski, Jack Dreyer, Alex Vesia, and Anthony Bondo. Big Anthony Bondo. Blake, he's on your National League Division Series roster, correct?
Yeah, I mean, Dave Roberts has said he's going to be added back, so if we're trusting Dave and don't think he's a liar, then he'll be on there. So, yeah, he's been amazing versus lefties all year.
Shelly puts us up there, clean baseball, relentless offense, and I love this show. Shelly, appreciate you wherever you're headed. I saw you were taking a plane. Safe trip. Appreciate you here. Jonathan. Hi, Scott. Jonathan, what's up, man? Appreciate this one here.
Very sad I'm left out of that one.
Yeah, nobody who sub Blake. I better see people saying sub Blake. Blake, I did see someone saying Blake woke up early for us today. So
it did. There's a lot of talk about my hat too. I'm not wearing one. It's because I've showered and my hair's wet, so it's just slicked back.
This is like Rob Lowe Blake, unbiased reporter, unbiased analyst, no Dodgers affiliation here. That's it. He's just.
Should I bring out? This hat? Just
what a yellow! What an insanely yellow hat!
You know the logo. I think I showed you. It might make people mad.
Is that a Diamondbacks hat?
It is.
I'm. This dude's got an Arizona Diamondbacks yellow neon hat. This is insane.
I try to get a hat from every stadium I go to, and when I went to cover Dodgers Diamondbacks in 2023, I picked that one up. So.
You should have flung that onto the field. That would have been
expensive.
I think you could have thrown that with more tenacity than Lance Lynn threw every single pitch there. Thoughts on that?
I mean, probably.
There you go. You should have done it. Yeah. Throw your Diamondbacks hat to the sky. Yeah, people are loving the hat. People hating the hat. Blake Williams just flashed a neon yellow Arizona Diamondbacks hat, and I don't know how to feel about it.
I mean, I wonder if the people hating have seen the Jar Jar hat yet.
You haven't brought that out one time this year, and that we'll wait till we'll wait till if the Dodgers hoist another title to bring out the Jar Jar Binks hat.
I might have a better one for that.
Okay.
I got it at the LA Card Show on Sunday, so it's a Pokemon hat.
Blake Williams, 1 of 1. All right, let's keep going. Another super chat here. Booty says, not going to lose to a city whose whole pride is built around a guy that doesn't exist. Rocky, Dodgers in 3. Look, I'm not saying it's going to happen because I love what the Phillies got cooking. And when you look at that lineup, it's really hard one to navigate, especially in a 3-game, like looking at 3 games, especially looking at back-to-backs. Like they don't have one except at the back end of the series. So the early part of the series for the Dodgers matches up really well. You know, that's just how it is. It matches up really well for the Dodgers. You get your aces back in there as fast as possible. And I think the starting pitching is overwhelmingly in the Dodgers' favor. Is that too much? Is it where do you fall on the scale? So go like all 3 phases here. Offense, starters, relievers, Dodgers, Phillies.
Offense, I'm giving the edge to the Phillies, I think. Probably slight edge, but I think I'm giving them the edge there. Bullpen, giving the Phillies the edge, and starters, I'm giving the Dodgers the edge.
Yeah, so it's definitely.
I think besides for the bullpen, they're all pretty close. So starter and offense are really close.
Yeah. Have the Phillies had the day off? Have they, or the time off yet? Have they had a bye since that's been started up?
I don't think so. No, because the Mets won their division, I believe. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I gotta see. We gotta see. Who knows? Who knows how it goes? That's interesting. We'll see how they can do it. They've got veteran guys out there who have been, done this stuff before. See if they can get themselves amped up. So we'll see. It's definitely always a hurdle. Every team who goes through it for the first time, the Milwaukee Brewers are going to go through it, I think, for the first time. I don't think they've had it yet, but we'll see how they respond to that time off there and if they can get themselves amped up. I'm not going to sit here and bank on any of that, but it's always an interesting conversation to have. It's an interesting angle to look at things there. And I need to pull this one down. There we go. All right. So Shohei Ohtani didn't have to pitch in the wild card round. He's slated to make his first career postseason start. We know how incredible he's been. One of the best starters in Major League Baseball in his short time so far. We know the leash tentatively. What's kind of the ceiling on what Shohei Ohtani is going to be able to provide for the Dodgers on Saturday against the Phillies?
Real quick, first, people are correcting us. The Phillies had a bye last year and didn't advance, so just that correction there.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you for that.
I don't remember all that stuff after it happens once it's irrelevant there. But yeah, Shohei, I'm excited. His first career postseason start. I think he's always stepped up to the biggest moments, and I expect the same from him. So yeah, if he goes 6 innings and a shutout in those innings, or 6 innings, 1 run or something, like that's kind of what I expect from him. And I'm sure he expects the same. It's what he's been waiting for his entire career. So yeah, I think we see an elite version of Shohei on the mound.
Yeah, there's been a lot made of kind of his progression here in his rehab from second Tommy John. And, some general frustration with fans about letting him go deep into games and kind of understanding the process that the Dodgers and Ohtani have kind of, been in lockstep with. What's kind of the max innings you think it's going to be, or do you think Dave's just going to have a pulse on it? Is a hard cap? Is there any hard cap for it? Or is he going to push him? Is he going to be allowed to push him? Is there going to be kind of tentative guidelines, or is it that, 6 innings, 100 pitches, that's it?
There's going to be a cap, but I don't think it's like what we've seen in the regular season. I don't think they're going to let him go 110, 115 pitches, but
yeah,
I could really see them pushing him up to 100. And if that ends up being 6 or 7 innings, like, I don't think they'd shy away from that. I'm pretty sure it was Andrew Friedman who said the restrictions have kind of been lifted and he's now just a starting pitcher instead of a rehabbing starting pitcher or something along those lines. We have the story up on our website, so anyone who wants to read that can go look for it. But yeah, I mean, they know they need to rely on their starters. Dave has said so. They're going to push him a little more than they did in the regular season, and I think Shohei is going to step up to that.
Yeah, outside of one or two outings in late August 13th and August 20th, Shohei Ohtani has just been absurdly good. Once he's worked in the curveball to his pitch mix, he has just looked exceptional. Everything you want out of a starting pitcher, an elite starting pitcher, no less. In the entire month of August or September, over 3 starts, he allowed 8 hits with 18 strikeouts. Allowed a 157 batting average allowed. Didn't allow an earned run. Not one earned run. Just 2 walks. So in his final regular season outing, 91 pitches, with what I've seen from Shohei Ohtani, he's a big strikeout chase guy. So that's where the pitch count gets way up there early. It's not that I hope that he's able to find some contact. I think the Phillies just will find some contact and hopefully hit themselves into some outs there. But Shohei Ohtani absolutely obliterated them in LA. It's not that I have the same level of confidence, which I do, but projecting that against a top lineup like the Phillies is always something that you hope can be replicated. But with Shohei Ohtani, I'm eager to see, kind of with those restrictions lifted off, I'm eager to see triple digits against that Phillies lineup there on how he can navigate it. Eden says not really. He's been pretty pitch efficient, I guess, throwing 91 over 6. I mean, sure. It's just a matter of how you want to look at that. It's situationally, but you look at him against top offenses. The Phillies didn't make him work. They were putting the ball in play there. That's my thing. I expect them to make contact against Ohtani, get themselves out. He's going to make a lot of uneasy, off-balance swings. He's going to go into his bag with his pitch mix. What's your best case for Shohei Ohtani, and what do you think the Phillies will try to do to get him off his rhythm?
I mean,
and don't say no hitter. Don't say no hitter.
That's the best case. Well, technically, perfect game, best case.
Sure.
I'll say like 7 shutout innings, I think, would be best case that you could expect from him. I mean, if you're getting 6 innings, 1 or 2 runs, I think you're going to be very happy with that start. So, yeah, the Phillies are going to try and make him work and get that pitch count up and get him out early and try and get to the bullpen early. That's going to be the strategy for every team against the Dodgers, because that's going to be the most effective plan for them. So I wouldn't necessarily expect the Phillies to be totally aggressive versus Ohtani. I think they're going to try and make him work a lot.
Yeah, he's going to pound the zone. I expect him to pound the zone. I expect him to make the Phillies swing early, swing often, and that's when I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to go after the first pitch and every single AB there. They don't want him to settle in. Yeah, I'm excited to see how he does it. He's going to attack. The adrenaline's going to be flowing there. I expect him, the first fastball he throws is going to be 101. I expect that. I think he's going to be ready to go and just fire something. So I'm eager to see that. With Shohei Ohtani, this is the moment that Dodgers fans have been waiting for. It's been, into his Dodgers tenure here. You already have a World Series. You already have an MVP as a DH. And now you get to see Shohei Ohtani on a mound in the postseason, doing both, going both ways. Two-way star. I'm eager to see it. Yeah. So chat, everybody, sit back, enjoy yourself again with Shohei Ohtani on the mound there as much as you can, because I know this is a moment that a lot of people have been waiting for. Again, everybody, thanks for your patience with yesterday, missing the show there today, being gracious under the weather. Blake Williams helping me bridge the gap here and get you guys through your Friday and into tomorrow. I think Blake and I are pretty confident with the Dodgers going into this series. We understand the matchup. We understand that it's going to be a tough game, tough 5 games potentially. And I think we both agree that it's going to be a coin flip. It's a coin flip series. The way that I look at the stuff, the way that I look at each game, purely based on 2 parts that matter heavily. I know the bullpen's in there, but offense and starting pitching. I believe the Dodgers offense has a good grip of what the Phillies are going to go put out with starting pitching. And I believe the Dodgers starters understood the assignment in early September or in mid-September against the Phillies and took care of business there. Keep the same game plan. If stuff is adjusted with Trey Turner and Alec Bohm back in the lineup, then so be it. But I think their run prevention skills were very good as a starting pitching unit. And it's the bullpen that'll continue to be under the microscope there. But we're going to go to questions. Everybody, all caps question, and we'll get to a couple of these. Thanks for tuning into this long show today, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Blake, if you have any that you've seen so far, toss them up there.
A few of them, so we'll just go in order. This one.
Yeah, Emar says, who stays and who goes? Alex Call, Hesson Kim, Justin Dean, also 2 or 3 catchers. I think I'm on the 3 catchers train. I think that's going to be something that's going to continue as long as Will Smith is able to swing a bat. And Ben Rortved's been playing well. Dalton Rushing, we feel comfortable coming off the bench later game or at any point. I think it's just the who stays and who goes with the first 3.
Yeah, I think we see 3 catchers, and I think Kim and Dean are off the roster. They brought in Dean for defense, and he didn't play great defense in the wild card series, so I think he's probably first man off. And then with Hesson Kim, I just don't really see a role for him besides pinch runner, and that's something Alex Call could kind of fill as well if you need it. I don't think they're going to be running for many guys either. The Phillies are such a left-handed heavy pitching team. Also, Kim just isn't going to have many opportunities. Miguel Rojas and Tommy Edman are both ahead of him on the depth chart. So, yeah, I don't really see a role for Kim necessarily.
Yeah, I agree with you. As much as I'm a big Hesson Kim guy, his role hasn't panned out to be a needed thing. If it comes down to there's an injury there, Tommy Edman, God forbid, that is an area that they could go with. Yeah, but Blake, I still have your lineup pulled up here, and I'm just a really big fan of how this thing shook out. Don't need to read through it. Wish we had a way to put it up here so everybody could see it. Some people are asking about the lineup and has it come out yet, and what do we think it's going to be there? But back-to-back asks real quick here. Who do you think are the first arms Dave goes to after Ohtani comes out? And maybe you can lump this in. Somebody asked also with Tyler Glasnow. Do you think he's someone that is slated as a starter, or it's just going to be kind of all hands on deck type of role? If we need you, we need you.
I could see Glasnow coming out of the bullpen at some point in game 1 or game 2, given that he didn't pitch in the wild card and all the off days and everything. He'd kind of just be replacing his bullpen session with that. So could definitely see that happening. First out of the bullpen, I'd probably say it's going to be a lefty just because Ohtani is a righty and the Phillies are very left-handed. So one of Alex Vesia or Jack Dreyer would probably be my guess for first out. I think Dave has the most trust in them. So if it's like a big spot where you're taking Ohtani out, probably one of them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I don't see an opener scenario happening again. That was for a very specific thing. That was for an Emmett Sheehan outing. I saw someone ask about that as well. It's going to be strictly just, traditional starter stuff. Yeah. Jack Dreyer's been performing very well more times than not. So make sure you don't bank on something happening there. But it can. Never rule anything out here. Let's see. Amanda C wants to know, outside of Yohan Duran, what's their bullpen like? The Philadelphia Phillies have a pretty solid bullpen there. Depth-wise, it's not exceptional, but they've got some, really good performers out there that Rob Thompson trusts. Tanner Banks, David Robertson, Ryan Kirkring.
Yeah.
Matt Strom, who's been very good. Kirkring's been very good. Rob Thompson has arms that he trusts out there. But the fact is that he's got righties out there that he trusts. He's got two lefties in Tanner Banks and Matt Strom that he trusts. Tanner Banks wise, older lefty there has been good this year. He's been a quality one. But that's why, like, late game, I think that's where Max Muncy could feed. That's just how I see it. I could see that happening. But man, Andy Pye is having that swing against Yohan Duran, and the Dodgers getting after Yohan Duran is something that gave me a good bit of hope. They were able to do it. They were able to take down the guy that I was like, damn, the Dodgers could have had this. So seeing that positive stuff against their ninth inning guy was big for me. I think repeating that success, they've seen themselves do it. It can happen again. Let's see here. Dusty, he says, I haven't heard a solid prediction. Do the Dodgers beat the Phillies? Logically thinking. Making these type of predictions, Dusty, is always the thing where that's why we take a 50-minute hour show to break it down for you, to provide you with as much information as we can before even going through the series. So before even playing a game in the series and giving you an informed response there and just looking at all the stuff. That's why I told you I like the Dodgers offense against the Phillies starting pitching. I like the Dodgers starting pitching against the Phillies offense. But the Phillies offense has some perennial postseason performers, former MVP candidates. Kyle Schwarber, if he wasn't playing in the same league as Ohtani, would have won MVP. So you can dice that up however you want. It's going to be a tough matchup, no matter how you look at it. Both lineups have the ability to change a game with absolutely one swing. They will do something that you go, God damn, look at that swing. Like, how do you hit that ball? Each team has that. So I can't give you like the Dodgers have it in the bag, the Phillies have it in the bag. It's that even of a lineup. It's at even of a matchup. And I believe Blake agrees with me wholeheartedly.
I'm confident in the Dodgers, but like we've been calling it a coin flip all show, and I think that's accurate. I'm confident the coin can land on the Dodgers side, and I'm confident it can land on the Phillies side. I think it's just really a great series. They match up well against each other. Should be fun. A lot of good baseball. If you want me to give a prediction, I'll throw out like Dodgers in 4, just because take 1 in Philly, win both at home. Like, sure. If it goes 5, I could see it. The only thing I don't see happening is either team sweeping. I'd be shocked if that happens.
I agree. I definitely agree with you there. I don't see the team sweeping. It would be like an absolute collapse. And since Blake doesn't believe in momentum, I won't even go that route. But if the Phillies aren't able to get themselves ramped up after having time off there, if their simulated game in Citizen Bank that I know the Phillies had and they sold a bunch of tickets to, if that didn't help ramp them up, they're going to draw on themselves and say, hey, wish we didn't have the bye. And that happens. I don't know why people think that's a thing. Rich, I see you in here, man. I know you've been talking about this topic on a couple different things. He says Machado was a no-show again in the postseason. He snapped at reporters yesterday. If running his mouth was part of his batting average, he'd be at 300. Yeah, but Manny Machado is a very, very different kind of guy. Very odd outburst against a reporter. Goes after a reporter yesterday just for asking a question. I know it was, an odd question there, but he's just Manny Machado, no show in the postseason once again. Big superstar. Did you see that interview, Blake, with Manny Machado?
I saw parts of it.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. Reporter asked about, how do you analyze this season? Machado just smiled really with a, real smug looking smile and said, we lost. How do you think I analyzed this? At the very back end. Then Ask him what kind of question is that, stuff like that. So typical stuff from Manny Machado, nothing out of the ordinary from him, but he didn't perform once again. Stuff out of a leader in a clubhouse, pretty lame. Maybe he sees the walls closing in on the San Diego Padres as kind of their push here.
Yeah, for as talented as the Padres are, like that clubhouse is a mess. They have no leadership. It's a very immature team, and that's why we always see them like flame out and have these issues.
AJ Preller though raised the banner. I always find it funny that every single time it's like, oh, AJ Preller, I admire him for the balls that he's got at the trade deadline, and then you give away DeVries for a reliever, and then it just nothing comes of it. All right, here we go. 300 says we don't need to be cute. Throw starters long, score 7-8 runs. Hope nothing has hit the Teo and no bullpen. Seems simple, right, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get eight innings from your starting pitcher each night, 8 shutout, get your offense to score 8, like things are going to be going well.
Dusty says Mike Shildt a terrible manager. I think Mike Shildt's one of the most overhyped. I don't know if he gets hyped, but I think Mike Shildt's one of the lamest managers in Major League Baseball. Can't lie to you. People want to talk about Dave Roberts as some fake tough guy attitude. Mike Shildt's got some of the biggest fake tough guy attitude I've ever seen out of any manager. It's absurd. Biggest fake tough guy stuff. He's lame. Yeah. Let's see here. Going around. Says this. I think Dodgers can sweep. They have enough pitching. What do you guys think? Offense to show up like a wild card series. Like we both said, hard time seeing a sweep. If it happens, then it'll be not a big surprise, but it'll be pretty big surprise. That'd be the Dodgers come out hitting, come out firing with starting pitching again. I love that Dave Roberts has entrusted his starters to go deep. He's gone out to the mound to have actual conversations instead of a quick hook. But Blake and I would both be pretty surprised if it's a sweep one way or another.
They're both really good teams. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, see here. Nando. Will Dave Roberts only deploy Tanner Scott in a blowout loss?
Get ready to learn high leverage Tanner Scott.
Can you speak to that for a second? Because I've done this on this show a few times, and I think on a post game or a show with Jeff, and I was on here with Anthony, and it was that if Dave didn't deploy him in a 10-2 blowout, I mean, he wasn't used. What situation is going, and it wasn't, and there hasn't been a save scenario yet. Like, what situation is Dave Roberts going to use Tanner Scott? And I'll let you say it. I teed you up. Here you go. Here's the layup.
High leverage Tanner Scott.
Get ready to learn high leverage Tanner Scott, everybody. That's pretty much how it's going. Yeah, Sandy Feet, we got to keep moving the start time. Yeah, yesterday was, I had to cancel, still under the weather, still in the same spot. Day before that, we're kind of sliding it around if it's game day stuff. So game day during the week, we'll talk about moving this show towards a noon hour if we can. If not, 10 a.m. We'll be here. So apologize about that. We keep everybody informed on it. Today, we just let it fire. So you can always, everybody, you can check YouTube. We usually prep the show. Blake will do the graphic and toss stuff up there. So if you ever have a doubt of when the show's going up, you can see when the start time is. So shout out to Blake. He's a beast.
Blake will usually do the graphic and set up the show at like 3 a.m. So that's about the time you can go check.
Facts, yeah. And then, that's why Blake's got the crusties around his eyes right now. Get himself wired up here. Drink a nice cup of water, and that's his coffee. Blake's not a coffee guy.
Yeah, I need to go get some breakfast or something here.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see. Tien says, will there be 4 lefties in the bullpen? Tanner Scott, Alex Vesia, Jack Dreyer, and Justin Wroblewski. He's forgetting one big name out there.
He's forgetting 2. There's going to be 6 lefties in the bullpen. Anthony Bonda and Clayton Kershaw are getting added.
And Big 22. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of lefties. People are going to be uncomfortable with how many lefties are going out of the bullpen, but Dave Roberts deployed them. You look back at that Ohtani start. He had Ohtani, Wroblewski, then he went Edgardo Enriquez, which was bad, and then he went Jack Dreyer, Bonda, and then Blake Trinan. I can see that game script playing out very similarly as far as Bonda, Dreyer, and Trinan. I could see that a lot. Yeah. So guys, get ready to learn 6 lefties in the bullpen for this upcoming series here. Rosemary, take care. Everybody, we're going to take a few more here. Laura says Teo's going off.
Not a
He's had success.
Scott.
Huh?
It's not a question. You said we're going to take some more questions, and then
yeah. I just putting up a comment.
The timing was just awful there.
The people do say what they want. I've had that started for a while. You mean to clear the board and then put that up there and then just take it down? Come on. Let's see. Science wants to know, Blake, are you joining the offseason mustache gang if the boys repeat?
Probably not.
That would be crazy. That would be unbelievable sight. I don't know if I want to see it. Laura wants to know, does the winner of this series win it all?
Probably, but no guarantee.
Who from the American League do you have confidence in?
None of them, really. I mean, the Blue Jays maybe, but their pitching isn't as good as like anyone else. And the Mariners' home road splits are always crazy. Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are the Yankees, but they don't have Garrett Cole, and we already beat them last year with Garrett Cole. So, like, I don't know. I think the Phillies and the Dodgers are the two best teams by far.
Yeah. Alex wants to know, if hypothetically we won the first two, what are the chances we throw Clayton Kershaw in game 3 at home? In other words, are the starters set or is it fluid?
Kershaw game 3 starting, I think 0%. I think they just try and close it out with Yamamoto and get the rest instead of like trying to play some narrative ball or a farm. So yeah, he's going to be in the bullpen.
Thoughts on Clayton Kershaw the night before, if he gets game 3 or game 4, walking out to the mound and putting his fist on top of the mound and taking a knee like Hunter Green did before his start in LA. Thoughts on that?
No thoughts.
Yeah, Hunter Green tried to aura farm and it blew up. 818 legend. I'm sorry about that, Hunter. It was a great homecoming. Didn't work out so well. Hope you end up in LA, man. You're a beast. Rod, Sasaki will end up being the Dodgers closer in 2026. I don't think so. They're putting him back to a starter.
They want to give him every chance to be a starter until he might fail or succeeds at it.
I'm just hyper impressed with Roki Sasaki and how he found himself in this spot to be a pivotal piece to hopefully with the bullpen and right the ship there. Wouldn't that be something? That'll be a rookie season arc that we talk about for quite some time, how he made himself into a very valuable piece here. Sign says that footage will be chills when Hunter is a Dodger in 2028. Yeah, for sure. It will be. No doubt. Just no doubt. All right.
Let's try and speed run. Let's speed run a few of them.
We're going one. Man.
People have been asking this. The roster will be out tomorrow morning sometime. I think it's due by 10 a.m. So around that time.
Somebody wants to know, where's Blake's hat?
I took a shower right before coming on, so my hair was wet and didn't put one on.
Who starts game 4?
Tyler Glass now.
Norm, I asked this for the wild card. Besides Ohtani, who's the player who absolutely must show up at the plate for this series? I say Freeman. I'm going to say Teoscar.
I'm going Teoscar again just because the Phillies are so left-handed.
Yeah, I'm going to say Teoscar as well. Like, that's right there. 3 spot success against Cristopher Sánchez there. They will leave. The Phillies will let their stuff eat in the zone, and Teoscar has to handle those mistakes for sure. Let's see. Aaron, series prediction. I got the Dodgers in 4, mainly because I don't know if I can handle a game 5.
I said Dodgers in 4, so it's up to you to make your prediction now.
I can stick there. Dodgers in 4. Dodgers in 4. My goodness.
This has been asked twice, real quick. So Glass now possibly pitching and then starting game 4. Yes, it's a possibility.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, next Nomo has the same type of thing there. What's the likelihood? Yeah. Noisy Ninja, we'll wrap with this. It says, can the bullpen be fixed or is it too late?
It can be fixed in the sense that you just need 2 or 3 guys you can rely on in October, especially with how the Dodgers have been pitching from their starters. So, yeah, I mean, if Roki keeps stepping up and Treinen is turning things around and you get 1 or 2 lefties to step up, like, yeah, you have enough options there to get you through games. So it can be fixed. It's optimistic, but it can happen.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's just a matter of lining guys up, best position themselves to succeed. the implementation of the relievers this last round, in the wild card round was odd to me. It didn't feel great. I think Dave Roberts was just trying to, mix and match, put his guys out there. It felt weird. It felt definitely weird to me. And some panic set in there. I think with Emmett Sheehan, the process and the prep was a little bit weird. He warmed up for a really long time, but I've got confidence in him there. So I like the options when they're matched up correctly. It's about going out there and executing. So hopefully they're in a better place now. And Noisy Ninja, we can definitely see just a better performance out of them. It's just a matter of them executing. It's Dave Roberts can do whatever he can. They've just got to go out there and do it. Blake, as always, man, appreciate you tuning in. But last word, man, send us home, buddy.
Still debating what I should go get or eat for food. So if anyone got any suggestions, tweet them at me, and that would be helpful. That's my final thought.
JY Squeaks is in here. Has there been an October version of Tanner Scott?
In the sense of like, have we seen a reliever turn things around, or like what we saw him do last year, Tanner Scott in October? I'm not entirely
Absolutely
sure.
Obliterated Shohei Ohtani, and that's why the Dodgers acquired it and blew up in their face for a first season of a massive contract. So yes,
he said as in turning it around. I mean, probably.
I don't know. We'd have to look into that. Off the top of my head,
I don't remember off the top of my head. Like, there's so many relievers and things. For the Dodgers, probably not that I can recall anyone. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. NS says, thanks, Scotterino, Blake, and Shaq. Go Dodgers. NS, thank you, man. All right, everybody. Well, appreciate you a bunch. Very long show. Appreciate Blake doing this. He's going to send me a strongly worded text after this saying we should have wrapped at 25 minutes. Yes, I understand. But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to DodgerHeads Unplugged with Scott Geirman. That's Blake Williams, one of the hardest working men in the independent Dodgers news. So thank you. I appreciate you being on here, buddy. Everybody, enjoy the postseason. Enjoy the day off today. The Dodgers get game 1 rolling tomorrow against the Philadelphia Phillies in the division series round at Citizens Bank Park. First pitch, I believe, is at 3:08 or 3:38 Pacific tomorrow.
3:38 now because the Yankees won. So
3:38 Pacific, 3:38 Pacific time. So, afternoon, little later afternoon start there. Enjoy your Saturday. Try not to get too crazy. Settle in there. Shohei Ohtani on the mound for his first career postseason start. He's got to lock in. Offense has to lock in. Get on Cristopher Sánchez early. Often don't let him settle in. Blake and I both expect Teoscar Hernandez to be the one that's got to step up there, hopefully in the 3-hole, and everybody follow suit. Make him work, get him out of the game, force Rob Thompson to get into that pen. But everybody, do us all a favor. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Keep tuning in to Dodger Blue. We've got fantastic stuff on the video side, the written side. Blake, Matt, the gang, everybody over there does incredible work. We're going to keep bringing you as much content and as much coverage as we can during this postseason stretch. However long it goes, we'll be here, and we'll be here after the fact. So everybody, thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, till I can't say it anymore, go Dodgers.